show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
This thing on? This thing's on. Welcome, everybody, to another Georgia Archery podcast. I'm your host, Big John Chandler, and this is where we talk about anything and everything to do with archery in the state of Georgia and Georgia archers wherever they may shoot. And like I said, I have a guest tonight. If you're watching, you probably may have recognized old Coach J.B. Arnold from the Big Creek Archery Club down in the big, humongous city of Stapleton, right? How you doing there, JB?
I'm good. I'm good, John.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was fine. Me and the family went to Hilton Head this weekend. Left Friday morning, got back Monday, got to watch college football, got away from everybody and everything. And it is so nice to get away, especially this time of year where it really is not easy to get away, but we enjoyed the holiday.
For sure. I see old Chuck's in the house. What's up, Chuck? He's Anyway, let's get some background music because nobody wants to just listen to me breathe. So my weekend has been I can tell you, Saturday I work just like I work every Saturday, and needless to say, we're not busy at all. You know, it's only 9 days from the season today. So the shop, we stand around twiddling our thumbs, if you believe that crap. But no, we've been balls to the walls deep with needing new arrows, needing new this, needing their sight fixed, their bow fixed. And we did that all day Saturday. Well, on Sunday, if somebody doesn't notice, this is a different layout. And so I built a brand new desk to set up this podcast on Sunday, and it rolled over into Monday, being a holiday. I did watch some little bit of football. I'm a college football fan, so I did watch a few games on Saturday after I got off work, and we watched some while we was at work. Some of those games were a little different than what people were expecting to happen. But anyway, we're not going to go there. So that's what I did this weekend. But there was an archery shoot on Saturday at 12-2 3D up in Hartwell. And it was a fun shoot. It was their first fun shoot ever. So it was that's a pretty new club. It's an S3DA club that's trying to get a little more going. And so they had a good crowd. It was a fun shoot, so they didn't really have a number count, but they had a good crowd from what I was told, and everybody had a great time. So you didn't run that way, did you? Because you was at Hilton Head this time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, speaking of new clubs, you're a new club. This is your first official year of going through from beginning to end and doing this, that, and the other, right?
Yes, sir.
And how did that go about?
Well, John, one thing that as a kid growing up, I just jumped in with both feet no matter what it was. And I decided that I was going to jump in with both feet. Now, when you jump in with both feet, that means you're going to learn by trial and error. And I can't tell you how many trials and errors I had this year.
How many errors you had to try, right?
Yeah. And what's funny about that is you got certain people that will point those things out to you in a hurry. But again, I knew when I retired from coaching that I wanted to get into something. And again, I probably have told this story 100 times. Shot in a 3D shoot down in Louisville at Rocky Comfort, thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I said, you know what? I think I'm going to try to get into this. And to make a long story short, I ended up at a bow shop in Augusta at Culpeppers.
Yep, good folks.
Ran into Casey, told me this guy over here was wanting to sell some targets. So went over and talked to the guy. Said he had a nephew, Dr. Byron Brooks, who had 20 targets, been sitting in his barn for about 15 years down south here in South Jefferson County, believe it or not. And went down, checked it out, looked at the targets. They were like 08s and 09s, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, I asked him how much they were. He said he would be better off if they, donated them to the school. And so that's how I got my first 20 targets. I have to give Dr. Byron Brooks a ton of credit because he helped us out with that.
Got you started.
Yep. And then I had to find a piece of property. Got looking around. The school has, and one thing about being a country school is we got a lot of property out here.
Yep.
And I have to give the superintendent down here, Dr. Sam Dasher, a lot of credit. He let me get out there and play on some property. And like I tell everybody, I got on a 72-inch zero turn and went and made me some lanes and went and made me a trail. And next thing you know, I had a course, and had a club. And through that, meeting just totally awesome people. Got the carport donated, got the building donated. I now have 2 bridges that have been donated.
Beautiful bridges.
Do what now?
Beautiful bridges.
And people, it just kind of developed. I'm a firm believer in faith, and I just felt like that's what the good Lord was leading me. And next thing you know, here we are. It's wide open. But now, having a club and throwing a tournament, man, that's 2 different things there now.
For sure. Well, Bentley said, "What's up?"
Bentley's let me tell you this. Bentley's a future superstar in the sport.
He is awesome. I asked him for lessons the other day. Dean, that's Dean Bear Morris. What's up there, Dean? Favorite course to shoot. Look at that. Ben said that's my favorite course to shoot at. I will tell you that everybody that I know has been down there. You keep a nice manicured zero turn, nice course. There's no doubt. There's not a lot of trip hazards. There's not a lot of, And then I guess before the bridges, you had to jump the ditches. Now you don't have to jump no ditches anymore.
No, sir.
And tornado made it, or a hurricane made it where that some of the lanes that you did have no longer have, but you've done a great job. Where'd you get all your information on how to do everything?
Well, I think with that, when you jump into it both feet, you got people that will correct you, and again, correction that doesn't bother me. I don't have enough ego to sit there and take things personal. I don't.
Yep.
I mean, you be a football coach long enough, I promise you get yourself some thick skin quick. But, I jumped in with both feet, started getting, some advice, tried to reach out and talk to the people who know stuff. And obviously with me, it started, some people that, and I'm not trying to leave anybody out here, but the ones I can say that hit me right off the get-go, when I first built the course, I called Trip Penn. I said, Trip, come down here and tell me what you think. And Trip,
oh yeah,
Trip's gonna be honest with you. He's gonna tell you exactly what he thinks. But again, I appreciate that. Greg Ledger, I brought him up from Rocky Comfort down here to talk. And as I continued to sit there and talk to these people, just gather information, I reached out to Olin Price, Jake Martin, super people. I can't tell. I've said this 100 times, but I can't tell you how much. The Horton gang down there at Coastal, just their YouTube videos of just having a great time shooting archery around the state and going to how much, I reached out to them.
Yep.
Ricky down there at Ogeechee, all of those guys. Jonathan Caldwell up there at Gainesville.
Yep. Jonathan gave you a shout out, said he appreciates you, JB. So.
Well, Jonathan is one of the true gentlemen of this sport. Let me just say that he helped me load me some targets over at Fort Benning. I've asked Jonathan a lot of questions. He's been more than glad to give me the the advice and give me the questions that I need. But I knew that going in. I knew again, I don't have an ego enough to sit here, and if somebody's going to give me some advice, I need to listen, especially to the the older ones.
Oh yeah.
the first S3DA event I held. I'm out there, never held one before. And old Larry Painter, boy, he broke his rule book out on me.
Hey, Larry's the guy, but I'm telling you, I love Larry to death. Been shooting with Larry a long time, but and that's the thing is he wasn't trying to be rude, and neither was nobody else. We just we try to tell you so that you learn from your mistakes, right? So the reason that we have you on, besides all of this, wanted to talk about you didn't have a rule book, you had a support group that you had to go find, and we all gave you input. I mean, because that's the first thing when me and you met for the first time, you asked for input, and I didn't, have no problem, telling you what I thought, and that doesn't mean that it's the right thing or the wrong thing. But if you hear enough things of the same thing, then you're like, hey, I need to implement that. But what we need to do is we need to support all the new clubs. So
yes, I can't say that enough, John. All I hear is we need clubs. We need clubs. And, you hear that as well as I do. Well, to me, you sit here and look, and we had a club down south here, right below Jefferson County and Johnson County. Troy Hall had Po' Boys Archery. And,
he did a great job.
But as he got older and as things happened, you hated for that club not to be there no more.
That's right.
And Troy was a great resource too. I mean, but to continue this club, to keep archery going, you got to have clubs.
That's right.
And I think it would be big to me across the state if you do what you can to support each other's clubs. And
100%.
And I'm not talking about just going to the club shoots. Jake and Trip up there at Team On Point had, the state ASA. And,
yes, sir.
He called me and said, hey, man, do you have a javelina cord? Do you have a, bighorn sheep? Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, and y'all are more than welcome to use it. That's the kind of stuff,
yeah,
that I'm talking about, that support each other. Olin told me after my first shoot, you need to put your scorecards on a card stock, not on sheets of paper. Just stuff like that you don't know.
You don't know if you haven't done it, That's the other side of, like, a lot of clubs started from club shooters that decided that they are shooters first and decided to start a club, or they buy a set of targets and go, hey, I can start a club, maybe pay back some of the cost of my targets and still be able to practice. You were in the different note where you didn't do this before. So you had not been to like 15 different shoots and done this for 2 or 3 years before you decided to open a club. And so, you were learning from each and everybody, and I think you've done a wonderful job. And learning on rules, right? There's things that you don't know, things that I went and look, Jonathan's sitting there. Jonathan, I got my 26 hunting arrows out last night.
God.
So I can go down there Sunday and wear some. I'll tell you a story about that. Screw-in points was the biggest thing, right?
Yes, sir.
So when I shot in hunter class, it had to have screw-in points. Now I shot some 23s with screw-in points, and I went to Fort Gordon one year and shot the ASA tournament on Saturday, and I shot 2 hogs with my tournament bow and my 23 arrows with the screw-in points, because I just unscrewed them and screwed in broadheads and we killed 2 hogs that night. I shot both of them with the tournament 23 arrow, but that was because I didn't want to change my setup because I'd already had it set up for ASA.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, being archery ignorant, which is what I was.
Yes, sir.
You really don't look at it, and 26s are more of a target arrow.
For sure.
But me being me, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So when I put that on my flyer, people call me out, and they had every right to. And I'll tell you who I give credit to is Brian Horton and Buster Morale for saying, hey, that's probably not what you need. That's what most people don't hunt with. And they are absolutely correct. But that's a lesson I learned. The other thing is if I say, I'm going to do something, John, I'm going to do it. I mean,
That's
if I
right.
told you could, then, I mean, I'm
Then-
not going to back off my word. Because if you do that once, you'll spend a lot of time
Backing up.
And they will people.
And they won't believe you because he's like, he's going to change his mind tomorrow.
And they will be people out there trying to spend their time to get you to change your mind, so that, but again, that was a learning experience. And that's one of them that,
Chuck Adams, arrow of choice, 26s.
of course, look
Lord.
at, and you see who sent
Look,
that.
Yes, sir. That was Jonathan. Well, let me tell you though. I mean, like I said, 23s was the biggest that I've seen. We all hunted with aluminum 23 12s, 22 13s. We've hunted with several aluminum arrows that were bigger. But today's trend is 5mm and 4mm.
Needles,
Which is a 204 and a 166. I mean, those are the two most popular arrows for hunting, and then a lot of guys still hunt with like a 246, which is what we call a standard hunting shaft.
Right.
244, 245, 246, depending on which brand, because none of them can make the same exact component because they all don't want to copy each other. So, but I digress on that. I just had to give it a little funny that happened, and I guess all that $7,000 you was giving away, right?
Okay, let's go ahead and. I realize, Georgia Archery Podcast is big deal, big money. You can't throw me under the bus for $7,000 when I ain't got $7,000. I will say this: I have had some great sponsors, John, that have chipped in some money. The people around here really support what I'm trying to do. It's not from me, but I ended up with right around $5,000 worth of sponsorship money that I'm just going to turn right around and hand out over 8, classes. Again, I'm not going to have just per se a money class, but I'm going to, I want to be able to spread that out and let everybody try to win a little money. Again, that along with the number of shooters in each class is how I'm going to hand out, the money.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't realize, and again, I didn't realize when you start mentioning money, boy, they come out the woodwork.
You bring them out, son.
They come from
no doubt
all necked to the woods.
Yep. Well, I thought it was pretty neat that you gave several different classes. Like you got a trad class, and you have a senior class, and a super senior class, and a regular hunting class. I was so happy to see that you broke it out into so that a lot of guys would move into the money class if they felt like they could compete, and they would all be in there. And some of the older guys and younger guys would all do that. And but at least you gave all of us a chance, so I ain't got to compete with them young eyes.
No. and this is me. The whole point of, and I knew I needed to have a shoot, John, other than just an ASA or a S3DA shoot. I needed to have, just a club shoot. And I came up with the idea for the battle.
Well, you had the Battle of the Creek like months and months and months and months and months before you even had a full shoot schedule out.
Right. Well, that was my whole intention.
Was gonna have a big shoot.
Yeah, and give everybody a chance, not just the young guys, but give everybody.
Jake said us old timers, right?
Well,
and Larry says yes, our old timers.
Let me go ahead and tell Jake. I'm gonna go ahead and get this off the board because I've got one person in Augusta that holds my rules to the fire and says that if Jake is 49, he's got to shoot in the young class, in the hunter class. Well, past week, or the week before last, excuse me, Jake turned 50.
Yes, sir.
I made the ruling. I went ahead and made the ruling that Jake is going to be able to shoot in the senior class next week. I'm making that rule now.
Yep.
Now, there's one person in Augusta that doesn't agree with me on that, John. I'm going to let you figure out who that is.
He's a little shorter fella.
Got a little chip on his shoulder, but he's been holding me to the fire. But I'm making the rule. I'm putting it out there now. Jake Martin can shoot in the senior class come Sunday. But those other guys, though, John, that's the reason I really like doing it over 8 classes.
Yeah.
I've got a men's hunter. I got a women's hunter. I've got a senior hunter. I got a super senior hunter. I just added this week, and thank goodness, I knew it rained for a reason. I've got a senior master hunter class, 70.
Woo, 70 and up.
Yep. And I got a kids and a youth and a traditional hunter. That's 8 classes.
That's
People
right.
can slide in there and they all can try to win some money. So, I'm big on trying to do that.
Oh, Daniel says you don't need big arrows if you put it in the middle.
One thing I like about Daniel, he's going to tell me straight up. The only thing about Daniel's is I think his girlfriend's a little taller than he is.
No doubt.
He's got to put those kind of.
He got somebody. We just know that Daniel's always got somebody to look up to. Is all we got to say. So,
but I got I gotta say this. I gotta give a big shout out to my sponsors. John, State Farm and Lee Woods here in Jefferson County. That's the reason that the tournament's named after him. Lee wanted to partner with me from day one. Lee's son, his crowd is that Cut 4 outdoor crowd that, all the time on YouTube. But Lee wanted to jump in with me. Bennett Supply Company, Robert and Jimmy Bennett, that's the ones that helped me build my bridges. Queensboro, I just happened to coach the president of the bank's kids, so Queensboro's jumped in there. Abbott Murphy, John and Marilyn Murphy down there at the attorney's office, I've coached their kids. Randy Miller at WB Miller's donated money. Our county commissioner, chairman of county commission, he owns the furniture store down in Louisville. And if you ever see a furniture truck at a ASA, that's me picking up targets. Furniture truck.
I got you.
Blocker Speedy up here in Rennes, Anthony Dukes and crowd, and one of our Board of Education members donated some money to Mr. Steve Norton. So I got a great group of people down here in Jefferson County that really support what I'm trying to do. They know it's not a selfish thing. It's a thing that you want people to enjoy. You want people to come out and do. But I know one thing, John, this can be overwhelming too now.
For sure. That's for sure. So let's see where we go. I'm just trying to catch up with comments, people who don't see them. We talk about them. So he says, Eric says, welcome to the old folks, dude. So he's telling Jake, welcome. And then Daniel said he don't like us no more since we were talking about his height.
Well, look at the picture he's got there, Joe.
Oh, no doubt. And then, he wants to shoot with the kids. So I'm not sure, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I know he was the highest score at the ASA qualifier.
Yes.
And he shot from the back stake with a bow he had just set up 2 days before.
And complained about his tape not being right.
Oh, it wasn't right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Once he got it right, he couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. But we don't talk about that. Sometimes you just have to pull and pray, and that's what he was doing, and he shot very well. I've been knowing Danny and his daddy forever. I've been knowing Danny since he was a lot shorter than he is now, and a lot younger. And just so happens that look, Buster's in the house. What's up, Buster?
Man, love me some Buster Moreau.
Yep, looking forward to it, Buster. No doubt about it. But yeah, that's why we wanted to have you on here, so that you could, and it's your different perspective, right? A lot of folks come on here and have done this for a while, and they're promoting what they do. I wanted you gave a different perspective because you're still new as far as, you're a baby in the archery world, being this is first year of everything you've done for, run a full year. And you hosted, 2 qualifiers?
S3
event, and now you're going to have the big show, which is the Big Creek.
And I'll tell you something else that I did that I was pleasantly surprised with is we held us a summer league here, and down at Big Creek. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's
took the bow apart.
But that summer league was a blast. I just can't tell you how much.
I knew it was a lot of fun because I liked all the crap talking that was going on after each week of the posting of scores.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't realize, being new, you kind of keep your mouth shut, kind of go with the flow. I didn't realize the amount of trash.
Oh yeah.
that gets taught in the archery world, and I was just blown away with that.
Yeah. But it was good because I didn't get down to go. That's a long ride for me to come down there and shoot every week, and it was good to like see what everybody was talking about. I mean, and even I had to throw my 2 cents in about the man has been sitting on top for way too long. Somebody needs to knock him off, right? Just because we good friends and we just
and nothing wrong with stoking the fire. I can
That's
tell you
right.
that. I love that. John, let me ask you this: if you're just getting into it, like I was this year, what's the one piece of advice you would give somebody? Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You always ask the questions. I'm gonna flip.
Oh
this
yeah. Well, that's fine. Like I said, I would say ask lots of questions to start with to people who have been doing this. Contact other clubs. Ask them what they found that works and what they find that don't work. Because trial and error is one thing, but if you can already get a little basis of knowing different things, I mean, your shoots got better through the year. Because every time somebody gave you a tidbit or a piece that said, "Hey, this looked a little bit, continuous. This looked a little bit whatever," and you learned from that. But if they have told you those things before you went into it, then you make new mistakes because we're gonna all make mistakes.
Okay, and I agree with that. And so, when would be a good time to approach that situation? The reason I say that is I felt like I jumped into it with both feet. If I got somebody out there that wants to start a club, and let's just say for 2026, tell me when would be a good time to call John Chandler, and I'm sure any time.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, for me, let's change hats. I work in an archery shop, so this month is a hard month to even think about an extra time. But the off season, when deer season starts, right? When deer season is in, the October, November, December time is a perfect time to reach out to your local club and say, even as a shooter, reach out to your local club and say, "Hey, are y'all gonna have shoots again? Do y'all need some help?
Yes.
If something we can do to make your shoot go better, because there's some clubs that ain't getting no numbers, and so they're like, why should we keep running when we don't get the numbers?
What's the biggest reason for not getting those numbers?
I don't know. I can't. I mean, first of all, you got to have a good club. You got to have a good a layout. You got to be an enjoyable person, right? I mean, if you walk up and people are mad at you, or people talking, and people ain't going to support you. And I don't know why certain clubs get all of the, location is part of it. You're way out in the middle of somewhere.
Nowhere.
But that big old place, Staples, is huge. But
just don't drive fast, though. You'll be all right. Go ahead.
Bear says that help is always appreciated.
Sure.
And then Buster says, shoot your bow a lot. There's no doubt about it. You need to shoot your bow more often than not. But Jake, I agree with you a lot about the league. That the league makes you remember what archery and how much fun archery was, right? I'm telling you, and I'm glad you got the stick and stringer class in there, the trad class, the whatever, bare bow class. The reason I like that is because those guys have the most fun. I've said it 1,000 times. They have more fun than anybody that I can think of.
That's the crowd. If you hear them holler, if you hear them, if you keep, reach. And I'm gonna be honest with you. From what I know, those guys want to be reached out to. They really do. And I had a good conversation with about 4 of them a couple weeks ago. And sometimes they feel like, they're not the compound guys. They're not the guys that are doing that. So they think nobody cares. But that's the reason I wanted to reach out to them. I have set up the course this weekend strictly, and I'll just give you one example. I have kind of a stand, even though it's not really a stand, for insurance reasons. But I've got 2 deer on there. One for the trad guys to shoot at, and their kid, and everybody else will shoot at the other one that's obviously far away. That's what those guys appreciate, and that's what I learned in having those conversations with those guys. Hey, we need to, look out for us. And yeah, I totally agree with all of them with that. And that's the reason I really am making a push and really reaching out to those guys. Hey, come shoot, just come shoot. Let me know what you think. I don't have a lot of trad opinions. I haven't.
Always good.
More
opinions, the better, right? Buster says, keep it about making good shots, right? No gimmicks. And then, for your regular ASA type stuff.
Right,
so that you're preparing yourself for the state, and the national shoots.
I can't tell you, John, how much that crowd down there at Coastal, and that crowd.
Oh, they got a lot. Jazz wants to know, can he shoot in 2 classes?
John, would you please tell Jazz he can't win every class, and I can't give him all the money. Just tell him to win one, and let's just share the love with everybody else. Because I've shot with Jazz. Him and his dad are great people, super people.
Yep.
I mean, they really are good shooters. But
Jazz can shoot that stick and string pretty darn good.
Yes.
On top of shooting the compound pretty good.
Yes.
He does both well. That's what he's wanting to know, if he could bring run one round probably with his hunting bow, and the second round through with his stick and string.
Well,
probably.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna go ahead and make a rule. Poor Jazz.
There you go.
I'm not trying to put him down.
One class
Jazz,
only.
If I do that for you, how many of them's going? I can see Jake Martin trying to shoot in the senior class and then turn around and shoot in the men's hunter class. So I'm gonna shut that down now. But
one class only. We heard it right here. It's about 5,000, not 7,000. I'm just trying to make the pot grow. Look, I am just thrilled that you're doing this. In case nobody knows, it's all deer targets.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be Fred Bear scoring. I bet you didn't know that's what it was called, did you?
I knew. Okay, I got educated on that a little bit, John,
Yep.
and I realized that. But I wanted to make sure. Again, what I wanted to, what I wanted to make sure of was, again, getting you ready for hunting season.
That's right.
Don't we all, Jonathan?
We all need some Christmas money for sure.
But we don't want to wound animals,
Yeah.
and I've wounded more than my fair share. But just again, my goal was to get you ready for hunt season, which starts, the weekend after next. That was the whole purpose for wanting to put this on and get people to win some money. And I will say this too, and I hadn't mentioned this much, but Bigfoot will be out there now. He'll be out there a ways. And if you hit him in his circle, you can win yourself a $25 gift card that has been donated, through the year. It will cost you $5 for 2 hours, and if you can do that, you win you a $25 gift card.
I hear you.
I'll go till they run out. That's all I'm gonna say. So
got you.
I'll do that till they run out. So
that's
that'll
awesome.
be out there too. So
yeah. So I mean, that's the cool part about it. That's what. So I don't mind like what the word gimmick, right? That Buster said. I'll say this, that through the season, if you're running an ASA club, you want it to mimic what you're going to see at either the national level or the state championship level courses, right?
All right,
clean courses.
Now, John, with that being said,
yep.
I may add this in here because this was a lesson I learned this year too.
Uh-huh.
Even though you might have a max 45-yard class, you don't need 14 targets and 45
yards.
Because I made that mistake too now.
Yes, but that's where we're talking about mimicking the shots. And I don't know, you talked to Scott Parrott. Scott Parrott he definitely learned the hard way that you ain't got to put it at 45 yards and people can still miss it.
Right.
Right. So you just want to mimic good shots and, mimic what's going on. So like a lot of times guys will try to find their hilly sections when we're going to Kentucky, and they'll try to find the more growed up sections when we're, certain places, flatlands when we're going certain places. So they try to do that. So,
But John, let me say this. You say that, and I agree. But there's nowhere I can look to find a 20 target course with yardages. I mean, you can't find that anywhere, whether it's ASA or whatever other organization, where it can help you set that up. And that's one of the things about being a new club.
If you don't know and you haven't seen it,
I had no idea. And when you put everybody out at 40,
oh, Bobby's in the house. Oh Lord.
Oh goodness.
So Larry says for real. So I'm going to bring that back to Larry just for a moment. So, and what I was trying to get at was, yes, when you run through the year, you do your ASA, you're normal, but this is the one time it's preparing yourself for hunting.
Yes.
I don't have ASA clean lanes out of my deer stand. And that deer is never going to walk in that nice, pretty clean lane. He's going to come under this tree with this vine and this bush. I got to shoot between there. So some of the gimmick side of things, or some of the real hunting situations, when you're doing a hunting type shoot, it's not seen as a bad thing, right?
Right.
And shooting Sasquatch at 1.5 million yards to have some fun is a great thing, right?
Right.
And so there's people who have tried this, different things, trying to get people to do, and the weather has always played a part.
Right. But I'm a firm believer. Like I said, I was supposed to have this 2 weeks ago, and it's like I told everybody. Larry. What I told everybody is I'm a big believer that you need
my corn pile.
I'm a big believer that things happen for a reason. And when it got canceled 2 weeks ago, I didn't have a master senior class. Larry Painter, you hear that? I didn't have a master senior class. But now that it got rained out, I've added another class. So
and you're on Sunday.
And that means somebody gets invited. So I mean,
that means I get to come see you.
And and then I ended up with 2 more sponsors. I mean, so
hey,
I'm a big believer to stay positive and just do the best you can in those circumstances. As far as the gimmick goes, and this is something I look forward to talking with all you guys about after. One thing that I'm excited about, I think Larry, Buster's looking at, gimmicks.
Well, that's what he's saying. It's a hunt shoot, it's not an ASA shoot, so he understands and he's looking forward to it. That's the funnest time of year, is the trash shoot, that one time a year that you get to take your hunting bow and go have some fun. Shoot
your 26s and just kill as many deer as you can.
I'm a Calola Iron Man. So,
but back to the shoot itself, I've got 2 lanes that have bungee cords hanging from trees. I want that to try to simulate you having on a safety harness. I've got 2 steps where you go up. It simulates a stand. I've got
off a elevated position,
right.
more. Yep.
I've got 2 blinds. I've got a lock on that is very low. But those you want to try to. What I was trying to do was give everybody a chance to shoot what they normally would be shooting out there.
Yep.
No matter what they did. And
that's right.
And I put all that out there. Different target. I got like you said, the Fred Bear scoring thing there. The -5. That was just. I've heard that was savage, but
Hey, we run in a hunting league at the shop, and it's savage. I don't care what you say. Like you've seen the range at the shop. It's 20 yards, right? You should hit the darn scoring ring at 20 yards, except for there's a couple of animals that we shoot, like the skunk, and he ain't about 7 inches wide.
I was about to say.
So
I totally understand that. I went to a critter shoot that Team On Point up there put on, and I lost a couple of arrows trying to kill a skunk. So I know all about that, But again, he's right about that. It rained. I've never seen so much rain down at Big Creek than it did that day. But,
y'all Big Creek turned into a river.
Big lake, yeah, big time in a hurry.
Yes,
But I think it's great. I having the opportunity to talk to people like you, John, just people around and get ideas. Because after this shoot, I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions. What do you think? What do I need to do?
That's
What
right.
needs to change?
100%. What can make it better?
Yes, and I
Yep.
think people like that. I mean, they really do. So, you know, tell Buster I appreciate him thinking I look like Bobby Bowden.
He just had to give you a hard time there. Let's see. BNC's drying out. I tell you what. So let's go back to the threadbare scoring. So if you shoot a center, the IBO,
12.
that is the 12.
Yes. Even though I realize everybody can say well, that may not be the most perfect shot for to kill a deer, but in this situation, the center circle is the 12.
Yep. And so also said every corner. Hold on. He said set them all long. That's when he bombed. He just kills it. Anyway, so the regular 10 ring is 10, just like
Yes,
it
sir.
normally is.
And
The regular
small
8,
ring.
the other 8 ring is the normal 8 ring is
Yes,
still
sir.
8 points. And then anything outside of that is a -5.
Yes.
So it's better to miss the target
Yep.
than it is to shoot a -5.
To wound the deer.
That's right.
So
that's what we want everybody to understand, what the scoring is to begin with, so that everybody's familiar with that. That's actually the scoring that we've been running for our 6 weeks league at the store.
John, do y'all have the lower and upper ring on your targets too?
Yes, because I'm using several ASA targets. I'm also using some Reinhardt targets, and there's a couple of Reinhardt targets that don't have the IBO, just has a lower dot.
Oh wow!
So then what happens for some of those? They were backyard bucks or whatever. So what happens then is if it has the bonus ring, that's the bonus ring. If it doesn't have one in the center, like the little Coca-Cola bear.
Yes, sir.
He's got a he's got a 8 rings about that big around. And so the 12 ring is about as big as my pinky finger, and it's in the bottom corner of the 10 ring. It's a little bitty thing. But those type of things we shoot at that. And then I have some targets that have 2 scoring rings on it or multiple scoring rings. So you can shoot the front and the back. So like Reinhardt had put 2 sets of rings on so that you would wear out, once you wore out a section, you can still shoot the target. We shot the raccoon in the head because he's got scoring rings on his head. Different things like that. I mean, so we got to give them some.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you this too. Back to having a club. One of the things that I wanted to do was run a club and have a S3DA shooting team. I wanted to do that, but I'm gonna tell you that can be very hard trying to do
for sure
to run the
multiple
club.
Things.
Yes, and I would encourage anybody starting out, because I had to learn that the hard way. Get your club going. Okay, I've reached out our local in our school. They do the NASP program, and I've reached out to her, and I think she's going to start an S3DA program with us, and that way I can continue just to manage the club and allow her to do the team. Again, my intention was to get S3DA off the ground, and I kind of fell short on that because there's only so much you could do. I mean, and run the club is a lot.
It's a bigger job than you really think it.
Yes, sir.
At one point. So Eric says, "Heck, missing is better." Man, he's got a shot at this now. And then Jake says a 0 is still shooting even. So they don't have an oddball number there.
Jake's always looking at the positive side. I hear you,
Yep.
Jake. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So.
But again, hopefully we'll continue to, hopefully we'll continue to grow. Yes,
yep.
Very much. And not only for this shoot, but for, just as a club, just to get things going. I hope this encourages somebody to start a club. You hear that a lot. It'd be pretty neat. It'd be pretty neat. I'll be honest with you, John. I'm just throwing this out here. But if we could have an East Georgia championship and a West Georgia championship, then a state championship. And again, I'm a big thinker, so I think outside the box. Or a South Georgia champion, North Georgia champion. I mean, that's just me. And I realize you can only do so much because you only got so many volunteers and so many things to do.
For sure.
But I'm a big thinker like that. Outside.
Well, the biggest I hear, there's two sides to that. You hear, we want more shoots, we want more shoots, we want more shoots. Well, there's not any more weekends.
Especially if you have fun shoots, a lot of fun shoots. Yes.
There's not another weekend. So when you add in, ASA takes 1 weekend a month except for July, whatever. So that's a weekend gone.
I hear you. You're
in
right.
most every month. So now you're at 3 weekends. Well, then you got to decide, well, out of those 3, you're going to shoot on Saturday or you're going to shoot on Sunday. Some folks like to go to church on Sunday. And so, they're like, hey, I'm at church, so I can't run the shoot on Sunday, so I shoot on Saturdays. And then some of us have to always work on Saturdays, so it's harder for us to get out on that. So it's always, there's 2 sides to every story.
I agree. You're right. I agree with that totally.
And I think Owen did a great job this year, which I screwed the pooch on that. I was going to come shoot because he did some Saturdays and some Sundays. That way, the guys that could get to his club on a Sunday, they could get on there sometimes, And then, but I just didn't get down there because partly something else was happening, major shoot, a different organization shoot, or that type of thing. It was hard for me to get. Or the flood came on some of those weekends. We had more rain this year than
early too.
Yeah, and
early,
it's been crazy, but it made the corn grow good. So.
Olin, again, I can't tell you, Olin has been a big person for me to turn to this year. He worked with me. If it wasn't for Olin, to tell you a little funny story about that. Olin told me the reason that the Battle of Big Creek got rained out the first time is because I took his date from him. And he had to move his
He had to move his date around.
He told me that's what I get for taking his date from him is it rained it out. And I told Olin, you're exactly right. You're exactly right for saying it like that. So,
but I'll tell you what, but that's the thing. On 2 sides of the story, right? If there's a whole bunch of clubs, then they're all shooting together at the same time. Now, here's the downside to that. If I live in your neck of the hood, I'm going to go to that club because it's closer to me. And then if I lived in the north and they have a shoot, that's where I'm going to go, right?
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm not going to drive zillion miles when I got one close to be able to do. So that's where the clubs can talk to each other and say, hey, let's set some dates and figure out who's doing when.
John, what's the best way to do that? I agree with you totally.
I think it's a reach out thing. I really do. If you're an ASA club, everybody's ASA club email address is on the ASA website right now. It's actually listed on the Georgia Archery website. But you can contact those club managers, operators, and try to work together. Right?
Totally agree.
Especially if you're close to them. Because if you and Owen, and then Team On Point, if y'all 3 had shoots on Saturday, you're breaking the group that would have come to yours.
Totally.
Is going to decide which one they want to go to.
I totally agree with that.
And
go ahead.
That's why I like the idea of talking to each other and try to work together so that you can do something that says, hey, we're going to shoot ours on Saturday. Y'all shoot yours on Sunday. And that way people can take turns and hit 2 shoots. Larry knows in the state of Georgia, we used to get 2 a days and then go around on Sunday and get I could shoot 3 or 4 shoots every weekend.
Wow. Okay.
There was a lot of clubs, but the problem was we'd show up down with Calola and I'd have to sit in my chair. That's why I had a shooting stools, because I had to sit on it for an hour to get to the stake, because there'd be 200 plus shooters at
Holy cow. Wow.
And
Okay.
that was not a big planned shoot or a state championship. That was a freaking weekend shoot.
Oh, wow. Holy cow. Now, okay, John, I'm going to call you out on that. How long ago are we talking about?
I was a young man. It was a long time ago. But everybody says that archery's growing, right? The problem is we're losing just as many as we're gaining. So we don't get no bigger lots of times. One comes in, the other one leaves. Part of it has to do I'm a young man. When I was a young man, yeah, Jonathan knows those were the good old days for.
But you're exactly right, and that you kind of answered my next question, John. Is it best to host? And I'm throwing this out here for people who want to listen. Is it best to host a 1-day qualifier or a 2-day qualifier, a Saturday and Sunday, or just 1 day? And the reason I ask that is I know that affects, because the people I've talked to, and I'll give you your example. You can shoot a Sunday qualifier.
I can. You saw me.
But a Saturday qualifier,
I'm out.
And that's, that would be another question that I would ask, or I would definitely tell a person trying to start a new club, do you have a 2-day shoot? Does that handcuff other clubs as far as trying to allow them a time to shoot, if you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm retired, so I mean, if you have a shoot on Thursday, I can roll down there and shoot on Thursday. But everybody doesn't have that luxury, because life happens, kids, and I can go on and on. But those are the kind of informational things that John, people need.
Yep. And so Larry just said, so you can know, we had 7 or 8 clubs in the North Georgia rotation at one time. That was in the 2000s, early 2000s, and that's just in the North Georgia area. And it was a heck of a way. We drive up there and we shoot 2, because I could get from one to the other, even though they both shoot on the same day. I could get from one shoot. I'd be at the Gainesville Archery Club when they unlocked the dang gate at 7:30. Get on the range at 8, shoot my round, go pick up something to eat or grab a hamburger at the shoot, and then run to the next one, because they were close enough that you could get to the next one that afternoon and run another line. So and
that's another thing, okay? And I hear what you're saying, because I've watched YouTube videos, John, of people making those runs, shooting in the morning, turn around and making a 2-hour run, or maybe not 2.5-hour run to another club.
For sure.
And that's the reason, like Sunday, I'm gonna be out there from 8 to 4. I'll stay out there from 8 to 6. It don't bother me none, because I know people want to go to church. I know things happen in life. We got to be flexible as a club, and that's me. I know you want to get stuff and go, and I know I can say that because I'm retired. But now, if you want to open it up, you want to be flexible. Again, I'm not looking. One of the things I learned, and I have to give Trip Penn a lot of credit for this. He says, you don't get in this to make a lot of money.
Oh, if you was planning on going to make money, just lock the door now. If you want to make $1 million, start with $2 million. Just the way it works, right?
And you can get to that million quick when you
can get there quick, but you're gonna lose one to get to one.
You will.
Buster says in Florida they all have a meeting and schedule everything together. All right, in a state. Now I'm gonna tell you, if y'all don't know who used to run the state of Florida,
let them know, John. I don't know.
That it was run like a fine
machine.
I mean, that machine was oiled and run, and they have their organization is all of the organizations in one group. So ASA, USA, NFAA is all one Florida state organization.
Holy cow. And see, that's something that you just mentioned here, that, the GBAA in the state of Georgia,
Yep.
Now we're talking about a whole nother organization, which can be overwhelming to a first-time person. I jumped on the ASA train to start with because that's all I knew.
Yep.
But I found out about the GBAA. I found out about all those different, and you got field, and you got target, and you got so much that it can be overwhelming, especially if somebody new. That's the reason I try to stay in the 3D lane, and because I don't know how much else I can do, if you know what I'm saying. So,
I understand completely.
But
yeah, so let's just throw it out there. So there's let's just on the state level itself. There's the State Federation ASA. there's the GBAA, there's the Georgia S3DA, and there's the Georgia Archery Association. That's 4 different groups, not counting archery in the schools and NAS programs and the traditional bow hunters of Georgia and the traditional bow hunters in South Georgia, the North Georgia, not to count all of them. We're just counting 4 major organizations.
And that can and
schedule all of their stuff.
Yeah, and that can be overwhelming. I mean, again, John, that's one thing that I learned. Okay, do I just stay in the ASA lane? Do I venture out into the GBAA some? Those are the things.
What he told
Tim
Buster said it's Tim Austin. Tim Austin was phenomenal on what he did and how he did things. There's no doubt about it. So,
and obviously
they still run it. Well, yeah, but they still run it the same way. I mean, once you got, like you said, somebody gives you a playbook and it's working, until somebody throws you out of your playbook, you're going to keep running your plays, right? Till they learn to defend it.
John, it's
all been good.
Let me go ahead and put this football perspective in for you. Players win games, coaches lose games. Okay, I'm just throwing that out
all day long, for sure. So, and also the TSO. I don't know if you've seen that. That's another indoor. Now they're doing outdoor another group. So the shootout series. So.
Oh wow, I did not know that. That's new. I appreciate Mr. T putting that out there. I had no idea.
Yeah. So I'm actually the ACE is actually going to host 2 of the shootout series this year.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we're hosting 2 of those events this year. They call it the Chattanooga. I can't even speak. The Chattahoochee Circuit, because the TSO is the national is the shootout series, and what they have is they have some in Kentucky and Tennessee and all over the place, right? And they have a different series, and then what happens is the top 8 in the country get to go to the gauntlet and shoot out for their championship. Wow. It's pretty cool.
That sounds
sort of like what you were talking about with the north, south, east, and west, and come together and let's butt heads. That's what they've done. So I'm hosting 2, and over in Prattville, Alabama, they're hosting 2, I think, and then there'll be a couple of others.
John, did they just call you up on that, or is that something?
I had some of my students actually were shooting that. And I thought maybe I should just try to host one so that I can, and then I figured I could talk if I'm going to host one, maybe more of my students would shoot it. And it's an indoor thing right now. I mean, in the state of Georgia, all they've done is indoor, so that the perfect timing is January. They're talking about shooting the state championship in January. So I mean, it's done through October 18th through January 1st. I mean, January, and it's done. So it doesn't interfere with ASA. It doesn't really interfere with other people's schedules of other stuff that's going on, except for the gauntlet, because they've already got it scheduled. But, it doesn't really interfere with everybody else. It doesn't overlap.
How hard is it, John, I noticed you said students. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but you had a club, or still have a club. I know you said you lost your property. But you had the property, the club, you have students, you work at the archery shop. Okay, talk to me. How conflicting is that, I guess, is the best question I have.
Well, as everybody who knows me, I actually held positions in a lot of those organizations that we just talked about. And when I turned 50, I decided it was time for me to give up some of those positions so that I could do more for me. I love the sport of archery, that I wanted to help everybody in any which way I could. And I don't care. I just like to sling arrows. I don't care if it's at a rubber chicken. I don't care if it's at a piece of paper. I don't care if it's a flying target. If I shoot an arrow at it, I want to, or if it bleeds like a deer. So that's why I got into the organizations as deep as I did. But as I turned 50, I decided that it was time for me to back up and do more. But yes, it is definitely, I have to schedule very well to know what I'm doing. I am a member of all those organizations that we talked about.
Wow. Okay. And you're teaching. I mean, that's the
I am,
teaching.
yes, sir. I'm coaching full time. Students show up here on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 6 is our practice. So,
Holy.
and then I have students that are not club members or not team members on the Apaches is what they're called.
Right.
But I have other students that come and get lessons just so that they can, adults that want just some help on this or help on that. I had a gentleman today who's going elk hunting for the first time, and we were working on some different stuff and some of the weirdest things. And it's the and it's you have to train. This. You have to train for what you're fixing to face, right? The same playbook doesn't work for this team versus that team. If I'm shooting a white-tailed deer and I got to shoot 30 yards and wait for him to step over the corn pile and sit in a spot and shoot him, that's one thing to train. You need to train to be still and not move so much. But when you're elk hunting, you got to train to run up down that mountain, pick up your bow, and shoot it as steady as you can at 60 yards.
After walking,
and then after walking 2.5, 3 miles at elevations of 10,000 feet plus,
with no oxygen.
So it's a total different training. Do you understand that he's training with 2 masks on his face and a backpack, and he's running up down the steps. He's doing his up and down the bleachers in the football stadium to get ready for that. So, but let's see. He says Pike Outfitters is probably going to host 2 of the TSO. So I was trying to catch up stuff. Beth and Joe says that John is the best coach. Well, I appreciate that. I put up with Peyton, so must be that's just one of my students' parents, and and y'all know, Peyton's a good fella. So, but yeah, so I have to play a gamble thing, and we'll work with different organizations, different things, and scheduling. I've been trying to set schedules since the last ASA shoot, and we've been trying to lay out schedules for next year. So essentially, I have a Halloween shoot planned, a Christmas shoot planned. All those dates were set on my calendar 4 months ago.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because wow. I have to put them in so that I can get it figured out. Also, as soon as that U.S. Archery puts their dates out, and when the big shoots are, we put those on the calendar. When NFA puts their big dates out, we put all that on the calendar. When ASA releases all their dates, we put all that on the calendar. And then you go back and go, there's one day open that don't have something big. There's 2 days open it doesn't have something big. So yes, it's a big. Like you said, it could be overwhelming to try to do an S3DA team and an ASA club and, this, that, and other. Don't ask me. I do it all. So, and Jake does it all.
He does. He really does.
And works a full-time job too. Luckily, his is not in the archery industry, so he gets a break from archery for a minute. But everybody's texting him while he's at work.
Okay, John. I got to ask, how hard do you think Jake's job is? His regular job is? I've got to ask that because
when the air conditioner goes out, it's really hard because he don't answer the phone.
That's totally you're totally right.
I know. There's times that it's all hard, right? And there's times that it's not. But
I'll tell you this. I'd like to give a shout out to Randy Davis. State ASA. Yep. Randy has helped me. And I'm gonna pick on Randy here. Randy said he's gonna come see my club, and I haven't been down here yet, And but I'm picking at Randy about that. But he has helped me. He allowed me to be a new club and host 2 shoots, which I don't know how often people get to do that, and I appreciate him allowing me to do that. I personally think that if you're gonna get into it, don't jump into it trying to host 3 or 4 ASAs, which they probably wouldn't give them to you anyway. But don't try to do that. I look forward to seeing, I really enjoyed watching Team On Point do the state championships this year. I don't know who do it next year. I thoroughly enjoyed watching Jonathan Caldwell run the Gainesville Archery Club up there and going to shoot.
There's some rumors that it's going to be in a good place and there's going to be some good folks and we're going to have a good time.
Heard those rumors too.
Yeah, everybody hears those rumors. I mean, we in the circle, right? Um, so look, Eric says that he doesn't have an open weekend after January.
Okay, well, I got to ask Eric then, is he, how's his marriage going? I'm going to just throw that out there.
Well, they all go together. Like
He's
so
right.
I coach his daughter, right? And so the mom, dad, and the daughter and the younger
So it's a family.
sister,
So it's a
yeah,
family.
but right now they but one shooting, but they all go
Well, that's
to
fine.
here, there, and
I
everywhere.
didn't know
But
if
they're all go as a family. Yeah.
I didn't know if
So
Eric,
she's
if it's
well,
a
Eric.
family thing, I could totally.
Look, Eric works a job too, and that ain't no easy thing. Jake says we're nuts. We nuts to believe that he works. That's what he just said. I don't know. That's the way I read it. I didn't. Is that the way you read it? That's the way it is.
Yes, sir.
And Eric said bankruptcy. He's crazy. So Eric, I know for a fact as soon as major shoots open up, he like registers and books hotels. So as of right now, he probably has hotels booked in Indianapolis for the Rushmore Rumble.
Holy cow.
He probably has the Vegas shoot already booked. He probably has the Hoosier already booked, and he's probably looked around for one or two more already on the Memphis. All of those big major shoots he's booked on top of all the local shoots that
it's just September, and it's just
100%.
Just turned September, so you got to give that a lot of credit. And if he's doing it family, you got to pat him on the back because, like I said, we're empty nest here, so I mean, we're able to go and do something. That's great that he does that. I really do. I think that is totally awesome that he does that with his family.
Well, Coach, we're gonna sort of wind it down. We've been almost an hour in now. And so first off, thank you very much for coming out and, hanging out with me and laughing and giggling and enjoying the company of fellow archers and the trash talk that we know how to do so well. And then, Lancaster. I forgot Lancaster's on that list too. I missed it too. So, but I tell you what, where can people find information about Big Creek Archery?
Okay, I think the best way, John, is to go on Facebook and just look up Big Creek Archery. And this is me, I feel like as a coach and as now owner of a club, everybody in the nation has my cell phone number. And if you don't, I'll be more glad to give it to you. But go on to Facebook, look up Big Creek Archery. I'm constantly posting stuff, constantly giving you updates on the club, what's new. I've changed that the ballot Big Creek Flyer so many times, and I hope I didn't confuse people with that. But I want to say this again. We got 8 classes. Come win some money. We got different stakes. Trying to get you to just get you ready for deer season. And
you're hunting bows.
You're hunting setups.
That's right.
If you win money, fine. But just know I'm trying to get you ready for one of the biggest days of the year, which will be the next Saturday, for people to get out and get ready to shoot their bows in a hunt setup. Come shoot Bigfoot. Try to, win you a gift card. If you're coming down to the shoot, let me just tell you this. Do not type in me and the county commissioner and the emergency medical guys butted heads over this address they gave me. The easiest thing to do is type in Jefferson County Middle School. We're right past
Jefferson County Middle School. Now, I would say look for Sasquatch, but essentially he won't be sitting out front.
He's been moved. Yes, he has. Yep. He's been moved. But type in Jefferson County Middle School. If you're coming from the north, we're right past the middle school on the left. And if you're coming from the south, we're on the right before you get to Jefferson County Middle School. You can't miss us once you see the cars. Come shoot it. Let me know what you think. Give me any pointer of any thing that you think I could do to make it better. And just come out. We will have a concession stand open that day. Come, our ladies in our concession stand, I give them a big shout out. There's no power down there, so those ladies cook it in our football concession stand and bring it down to the concession stand at the course. So I give those ladies a big shout out. All the archery club members of Big Creek, those guys are super help. Love those guys. Hopefully, I'm going to say this now. come next Saturday, you shoot a deer and you're a Big Creek Archery member, send me those pictures. I've got pictures on there now of Suzanne and Kevin May shot antelope out west.
Yep, went out west and shot some antelope. I saw that.
Both of them did. Got those pictures. Love posting people shooting stuff with their bows.
Success. That's right.
So and those are the kind of things I get really excited about. So, trying to make it happen, John.
Yep. Well, if y'all don't know, you can find me almost anywhere and everywhere. On the podcast, you can listen to us at most every podcast, wherever you get your podcast app. Make sure when you listen, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with other people, and leave a comment. Make a comment on it so that we know that you've been listening to it. You can find us on all the social medias: Instagram, TikToks, Facebook, Twitter, even though now it's called X, Snappy Chats, and YouTube. If you have any information you need me to share on this, you can send it to info@georgiaarchery.com. Speaking of georgiaarchery.com, that's where all of this information throughout the year that we talk about is on my calendar. So if you don't see your stuff on the calendar, you need to send me an email that tells me when your shoots are happening so I can get it information on the calendar. Also on the website has a list of clubs and a list of stores and a list of this and pictures that we go in videos and things that when we go to different shoots. So that's how you can find us, do us. We appreciate it very much. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the YouTube side of things a little bit. There's been several people on YouTube watching tonight, and go out there and subscribe. There will be next year should be kicked off with a little more information of different stuff, and not just tournament archery full time. We like to kill animals and like to see them bleed. So that's how that goes. Like I say, Coach, I appreciate it one more time. I hope to see you Sunday morning before the heat. It shouldn't be
get that email chain rolling this year, man. So with clubs, I'm gonna lean on you to do that. Get that email chain going between the clubs. I think that would be an awesome thing, bud.
Okay. Well, let's see. See you Sunday before the heat. Let's see what else to say. Does a great job, Big Creek, for sure. I think he does. Larry's got some. I'm just trying to catch up while we were doing our talking. Thanks, guys, for all we do. And Jonathan, concessions money go back to the shoot.
No, to the school.
Look to the school. Does the concessions go back to the money go to the school?
Yes.
So that even helps out on the other side. So.
Well, that helps those ladies out. I'm telling you,
for sure.
They do a wonderful job. Tell Buster, I love you. It's JB, not JD. I've been called worse.
It's JB, Mr. Coach Arnold. How long have you been coaching?
I was a coach for 33 years. I was a head football coach for 22 of those 33. My last 22, I was a head coach. So
I got you.
And
you've been retired for how long now?
2 years now. Well, going on three.
Yeah, well, I played a little football when I was younger too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I played for them Griffin Bears, and if you don't know who the Griffin Bears are, you are out of date because they are actually, the Griffin Bears has had more NFL graduates.
Now, the word I get over there is Spalding is better than Griffin.
We didn't have Spalding at the time. We had Griffin Bears, and we were Quad A champions, and that was about it because Quad was the biggest that we had in the state at that time. That does tell you how old I am now, right?
How long ago was that now, Joe?
Just about like yesterday. But anyway, I played for Coach Bohannon. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Legend in the state of Georgia, no doubt about it.
For sure. I mean, no doubt about it.
That is awesome, man.
Anyway, take someone, teach them how to shoot a bow. It will last them a lifetime. Until next time, I'm Big John. That's Coach, not JD, but JB Arnold. And we'll see ya.
Take care.